welcome back to our channel. In today's video I wanted to talk a little bit more about how we made things work in our family. Being a mom has always been a long time dream of mine. I've always wanted a kid, and of course in my heart I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. But when things happened, when we had Madeline, we had to face the truth is we can't afford me being a stay-at-home mom. At first it was really heartbreaking for me because I have wrapped my head around this perfect thing, you know, being at home, raising Madeline, Jay working and then coming back home, but we really can't afford it. And the other complicated thing was we couldn't afford to hire a nanny either. Our work hours are really stretched, you know. We start really early in the morning and we finish work around 8 p.m. every night. So if we were both at work, including Saturday, it will cost us so much that actually my whole income would go to pay the nanny. So it was a kind of tricky situation for us because if I wasn't working, we didn't have enough income to pay what we had to pay, and if I was working, on the other hand, all the money I would make would go to pay the nanny. So same thing, it wasn't enough. And so how did we make it work? In France you're allowed to have a 3 months full maternity rest, and you are fully paid during these first 3 months of your baby's life. So it's a real relief. We knew that at least I could be at home with Madeline for the first 3 months of her life. And then what? So you're allowed to stay at home with your child until this child reaches 3 years old. You can be fired or forced to go back to work until your child is at least 3 years old. So it's a great chance we have here in France. But the thing is, after the first 3 months you're not fully paid anymore, or you're not paid at all, depending on your situation. Even if you might have some help from the state and the country, sometimes it's not enough, and for us it wasn't enough. Jay and I, we both work at the same place, and we used to have the same work hour because we were working together, and somehow this was our biggest chance because we asked our boss if we would be able to make our work hours work in a way that we were never working at the same time, you know, and he said yes. So what happened? I really couldn't go back to a full-time job because there weren't enough place in France. A full-time job is about 35 hours of work a week, but we couldn't make Jay working 35 hours a week and then put 35 hours of work for me in the same week. It didn't fit. So what we did, because anyway I didn't want to went back to a full-time job. Being a mom for me is a job, so I wanted to be able to be at home with Madeline, to raise her, to be there for her, to watch her grow. So what we did is I went back, but with a part-time job, which means I now work 18 hours a week and I work outside of Jay's work hours. And so this means basically there is always someone at home with Madeline, so this way I'm at home and I can work and we don't have to pay a nanny. So this is basically the best of everything we could ask for. The best part of this is, as I have already said earlier, there is always someone home for Madeline, and for me this is important. I know some nannies are really great, but for me, for us, it was really important that when she's this young, you know, she's raised and she's with her parents, with her family, at home in a place she knows. And so we're really grateful for this. And the other really great thing is I still make an income to help our family. This way we can still live the best way we can. We are not worried about money, and we're really happy about that. But of course nothing is perfect, so there are some downside to this situation. For me, the biggest one is Jay and I barely see each other anymore. And I know that's what most of couples live every day. But as I've said earlier, we used to work together on the same shift. So we were working together, we were taking the bus together, we were living together. So basically we were together almost 24/7, and this is a big change for us because when I was on my maternity rest, of course I was at home, so he went working, but when he was back home I was always there and we were together. But no, when he comes back home, except if it's at night, I have to leave for work. So we see each other something like an hour at lunch, and then we see each other just at night. But I think all in all, we found the best way to make this situation work for our family. And it's not perfect, but for now this is the way things are, and at least we are very grateful to be able to work and be here for our daughter at the same time. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video about how we made things work for our family, even if we couldn't afford me being a stay-at-home mom. Feel free to subscribe if you want to join our family journey, and I see you soon in another video. Bye!